The Apple Watch Ultra, as we know, has been out already for a couple of months, but I'm usually quite late to the party and there's no change in that here. But this is going to be my first impressions, not a review, but my first impressions of the Apple Watch Ultra after about 48 hours. The Apple Watch Ultra, even though it's been out a couple of months, I've been thinking about wanting to get it so I can see how different it is to a regular Apple Watch and see whether 850 quid makes it worth buying the Ultra over a regular Apple Watch. And the first thing that I noticed straight away is if you have an Apple Watch Series 3, an SE, a Series 5, a Series 7, a Series 4, it's still an Apple Watch. So even if you go and get the Apple Watch Ultra, essentially it is still the same thing. When you turn it on, have a look at it, play around with it, you know, it's still an Apple Watch. And to be fair, this might look a little bit better. It's packaged really nicely. It looks expensive, but the insides are the same in terms of what the Watch OS does. And that's actually a bit of a good thing as well as maybe a bit of a bad thing, but it's familiar. But this does look unreal. This is what I want from an Apple Watch. It's this, it stands out. It looks expensive, essentially. It looks different and it just looks rugged. It looks cool. I think it just looks cool. I love how the Apple Watch design is. This is where I think all Apple Watches should be, like in terms of design. If you have a look at it and compare it to a Series 7 or a Series 8, then they look a little bit dated. This looks kind of just like modern. It looks futuristic. It's the future of an Apple Watch, I suppose. It does look really good. The bigger screen, the action button, the bigger build, the better straps. I know you can get them for other Apple Watches as well, but it all fits together so nicely and you start to look at it and think, God, 850 quid, it might actually be worth it. But that display, just in the first couple of days, having that 49mm flat display does make using this Apple Watch better and easier. And you might be like, oh, why is it being flat? Why does that make it a lot easier? I don't know. I don't know the real answer. I don't know why it makes it easier, but just having that flat surface in that bigger screen means you can kind of use it without being fiddly. So you can use a calculator app if anyone does that. You can go into messages and type messages better. It's just being able to touch things and get things without having to be so precise. You can be a little bit clumsy. Maybe that's why I like it, because you can be a bit more clumsy when you're playing around with it and still get to where you need to go. And then the other change, it's not even a big change because it's not a change, but it is kind of a change. Anyway, it's that digital crown. Now it's built into that almost like housing. I find it a lot easier to use because when you're kind of trying to press it, your finger feels like it has something to rest on a little bit more. And I never needed that from a regular Apple Watch, and I still definitely don't need it. But using that digital crown with your finger being able to like rest on something, for me, feels better. It's the same, but almost feels better, if you know what I mean. But in all of this, there was one big surprise when you unbox that watch and you put it on your wrist. You expect it to be really heavy, and it's not. It's so light for the size of it and how bulky it is. You expect to be able to actually like feel it as you're kind of moving your wrist around, but I don't know. I don't know if it's lighter than the other Apple Watches, but if not, it seems lighter because of how much bigger it is. But because it's so much bigger, if you have smaller wrists, this is going to look ridiculous. Like, in terms of wrist sizes, I think I've got pretty average wrists, as wrists go. And this still looks pretty bulky and pretty big. So if you have tiny wrists, then it's going to look really out of place. And actually, it might feel quite difficult to wear. But if you've got a good average sized wrist like me, you should be fine. The biggest standout on this Apple Watch Ultra so far, the battery. The battery is phenomenally good. I took it off charge 2 days ago, and still at the moment we are sat, let's have a look, at 21%. And I've been using it not heavily, but I'd say like a normal amount of usage for an Apple Watch. And my Series 7 would be so dead at this point. And it's surprising how much of like a battery champion this is, considering it has cellular built into it and turned on as well. And I always thought cellular on an Apple Watch would be pointless, but you know what? It's actually quite cool. It's not needed, no one needs it because you have your phone with you, but it's quite nice to have. So if you ever want to go out running, which I've not done yet, it's only January the 4th, I've not started running yet, but if I want to go out running, I can leave my phone and still take calls and all that stuff. And it's kind of just leaving the phone at home and being able to take the watch with cellular, which is actually quite good. And setting that cellular up, after a couple of tries, it was a bit irritating, but then when it actually works, it takes like seconds to set up and you're ready and good to go. And just quickly back to the battery, I feel like this is exactly exactly what an Apple Watch battery should be, where you charge it once and you can get 2, maybe 3 days out of it and not have to think about it. Having to charge it every night is annoying. And I don't know why, it is annoying. But the battery on this and not having to charge it all the time, it kind of takes that thought away. And if people do sleep tracking, then this is going to be an absolute dream. And can we just say as well, if you're going to go for a watch strap, the trail loop is the only right answer to getting this on an Apple Watch. That big orange one, it's not for me. This little one with that little subtle hint of orange is absolutely the way forward. It looks so good. It's not worth £99, but it is nice. And there we go. That's like the first impressions over the last 48 hours of having this Apple Watch Ultra. I already don't want to take it back, honestly, but then I'm like, 850 quid, is it worth it? We'll find out. I'll use it for a couple of weeks and see. And I know that this is not an original idea. I've seen it all over YouTube already, but I will do like a 24 hours where I just leave my iPhone at home, get rid of it, and just use the Apple Watch Ultra and see how easy it is. And can it replace your iPhone? I'm sure the answer is no, but it'll be good for a video, won't it? Like I said, this is not a review of the Apple Watch Ultra. It's just the first impressions over the past 48 hours. I need to use it a little bit more first. But so far, first impressions, yeah, they're pretty good. It looks really nice. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like the video, why not give it a like and subscribe to the channel as well? And if you do that, then I will see you later.